Listen carefully.
Who wrote the stories? People used to listen to stories. Now, reread them. Some of the fairy tales and fables come from a very long time ago. Aesop's fables. Aesop lived in Greece a long time ago. Animals are the main characters in his fables. A fable shows how problems are solved. It teaches people what to do. Aesop told such fables as The Boy Who Cried Wolf and The Tortoise and the Hare. They were written down around 300 BC. Andersen's fairy tales. Hans Christian Andersen lived in Denmark in the 19th century. He had no friends growing up, so he lived in a dream world. When he was 30, he started writing stories. He wrote The Emperor's New Clothes, The Ugly Duckling, and The Princess and the Pea. Grimm's Fairy Tales. Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm were brothers who lived in Germany. They listened to stories from all over the country. They wrote these stories down and became famous. Two of these stories were Hansel and Gretel and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Listen carefully.
Stars, like diamonds in the sky. Our sun is a star. A star is a giant ball. It consists of very hot gas. It gives off energy. It releases heat and light. Star sizes. Stars are all different sizes. There are different names for the different sizes. Our sun is small. It is called a yellow dwarf. Red giant stars are 30 times bigger than the sun. Supergiants are hundreds of times bigger. However, the sun is 100 times bigger than tiny stars. They are called white dwarfs. Distance to the stars. Imagine that we see the same thing from different points. Then it will look different. We call it parallax. We can learn about distance by using parallax. The Earth orbits the sun. It continues to change its position. As the Earth orbits the sun, we see the stars from different points. We can learn about the distance to the stars using this method. Constellations. Many stars form patterns. We can see them in the sky. We call these patterns constellations. Many constellations are named after animals. Up until now, we have found 88 constellations. We divide the night sky with all the different constellations. The stars in a constellation look close together, but actually they can be many light years apart. What a long distance it is.
Listen carefully.
Somewhere in the world. Somewhere in the world right now, students are hard at work in school. School lives can be very different in different countries. France. The school day begins at 8 a.m. and finishes at 4 p.m. Students do not go to school on Wednesday or Sunday. They only go to school for half a day on Saturday. Lunch is a 2-hour break. Kenya. The school day also begins at 8 a.m. and finishes at 4 p.m. Many schools provide a lunch meal. Kenya is a very poor country. Some students save their lunches to share with their families when they go home. Iran. Boys and girls go to different schools. Girls have female teachers and boys have male teachers. All students have to study religion. Men and women study together at university. Brazil. Students study from 7 a.m. until noon. Then they go home to eat their lunch. Lunch is considered the most important meal of the day. Russia. Students don't wear uniforms, but they are told to dress warmly. The students remain together in the same class from grades 1 to 10.
Listen carefully.
Stealing never pays. The police think James robbed a pizza place. They say he left something behind. James says he did not do it. What is the truth? The police say James went to a pizza place in California last Wednesday. He ordered a pizza, but he had no money. Then he asked if he could get a job. The cashier gave him an application. James began filling it out. After eating the pizza, James lifted his shirt. There was a gun under his shirt. The cashier gave him all the money. Then James drove away. Someone else followed James. He wrote down the car's license plate number and gave the information to the police. The police found the car easily. It was at James's house. The police found James at his house and arrested him. When the police went back to the pizza place, they found James's job application. It was still there. It had James's real name and address on it. Now James will go to jail. Robbing never pays.
Listen carefully.
Giving a voice to the voiceless. Susie Simpson, a 15-year-old girl from Ohio, won the science competition last week. She made people realize the problems of the brook trout. She said she didn't even know brook trout existed. One day, her grandma told about the brook trout. A long time ago, there were many brook trout in every stream in the area. There are only 2 streams in Ohio with brook trout. I wondered why there were not many brook trout. Then I learned that humans are the reason. They are polluting the streams. I was really shocked, she said. She felt sorry for the brook trout. She wanted to help keep the environment clean. She decided to enter the science competition. She told people about the brook trout's problems. She won the gold medal, and she even met the president. The awards are nice, but the real prize is something else, she said. Now more people know about the problems of the brook trout. The brook trout's homes are starting to get better. Susie emphasized, we should know that we can make a difference. We can make the world a better place.
Listen carefully.
Enjoy the music of string instruments. Green Youth Concert. Performed by Green Symphony Orchestra. Where? The Green Arts Center. When? Wednesday, October 11th, 9:30 and 11 a.m. The Green Symphony Orchestra will hold a performance. The orchestra will help more students have interest in classical music. It will also make students understand classical music better. The concert will only use string instruments. These instruments will include the violin, viola, cello, and the contrabass. Students will have the perfect chance to enjoy and learn about the music of string instruments. The orchestra will play the world's best-known and loved music. The conductor of the orchestra will explain the history of string instruments. Students will learn how the string instruments were invented and developed. Each kind of string instrument will be individually played. Students will learn about the different sounds. The conductor will explain each piece of music. Students will also be given an individual guidebook.